Hey guys, it's a Monday, so you know what that means.
I'm waking up past noon. I'm never really sure what day it is. I'm wishing I was you.
So, this week's topic is a little bit more serious than our Talent Week topic. The topic this week is Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Bum bum bum. So as of now, the Congress is in the midst of a historic debate over the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. This law, as of right now, effectively prohibits known gay men and lesbians from serving in the military, which in turn forces a lot of them to pretend to be heterosexual. So I think the first thing I should talk about is the fact that I am not condemning Don't Ask, Don't Tell as a whole. I do believe that at the time it was erected, it was an appropriate policy for the time. In order to understand this, we must reflect that at the time that it was created, there was a lot more animosity towards it, which at the time could have proved to be extremely problematic. One of the biggest concerns being that it would disrupt the cohesion of the unit, which at the time I could possibly understand. Not necessarily for the comfort of the heterosexual serving, but more or less for the safety of gays and lesbians serving. The other positive influence of Don't Ask, Don't Tell at the time was that beforehand, homosexuals weren't allowed to serve in the military at all, even if they weren't open about it, if that makes sense. Superiors in the military before Don't Ask, Don't Tell had the right to more or less go on a witch hunt, or in this case, a homosexual hunt. Which means that superiors could, in fact, initiate a full-out investigation on a serviceman's orientation, even without any kind of indication. These superiors, with very little substantial evidence on someone's orientation, could almost rightfully initiate an investigation upon one's sexual orientation, thus leading to persecutions and harassments of said military man or woman. So at the time, while all of this was going down, the initiation of Don't Ask, Don't Tell was a huge step. Because, in a sense, at first, it did protect gay and lesbian military personnel from persecution and harassment. Most people don't know, but Don't Ask, Don't Tell actually had a longer name in the beginning. It was actually Don't Ask, Don't Tell, Don't Harass, Don't Pursue, which really makes sense for that time period. However, that does not reflect my viewpoints of modern day. Times have changed drastically since the implement of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and therefore so should the policy. It has caused a huge uprise over the past years, especially in the LGBT and ally community. It is said that around 60,000 military personnel are believed to be gay. Another huge factor as to why Don't Ask, Don't Tell needs to be repealed now is mostly due to the general population. In a recent poll in February of 2010, 66% said that they believe that the current policy of Don't Ask, Don't Tell is discrimination, while 79% of Americans in 2005 said that they were not opposed to gays serving openly in the military. That is a huge number in the general public, not just in the military, but in the general public itself. Now, in regards to people actually serving in the military, there's an overwhelming response from military personnel that they themselves believe that Don't Ask, Don't Tell needs to be repealed. The other huge reason why Don't Ask, Don't Tell needs to be repealed is because the Pentagon's senior civilian and military leaders are also in favor of repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Defense Secretary Robert Gates and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Admin Michael Mullen have both testified in favor of repeal. Gates is even a lifelong Republican who was appointed by the George W. Bush administration, and he even said that he fully supported Obama's plan of repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And Mullen, who was also a President Bush appointee and had more than 40 years of military experience, went a step further. He said that, "My personal belief is that allowing gays and lesbians to serve openly is the right thing to do." And then Mullen continued, "I cannot escape being troubled by the fact that we force young men and women to lie about who they are in order to defend their fellow citizens. For me, it comes down to integrity. Theirs as individuals and ours as a nation." Yeah, that's awesome that a military personnel with 40 years of experience and who is appointed under a conservative Republican administration is all for the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and even believes that forcing homosexuals to pretend to be someone who they're not is just downright wrong. So kudos to you, Mullen. Kudos to you. Now get this. This to me is downright hilarious. So, Armed Services Committee member and Georgia Senator Saxby Chambliss, who is also a Republican and never ever served in uniform, challenged the view of the Pentagon's highest-ranking military official. The senator, Chambliss, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, oddly suggested that gays to serve openly might somehow lead to alcohol use, adultery, and body art. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I guess the main fear of most people about gays openly serving in the military is that it will disrupt unit cohesion. However, there has been no proof that gay service would have a negative impact on the military. In fact, 24 of our nation's allies allow gays to serve openly in the military, including Israel, England, and Canada. The other thing that's ridiculous is that those in the military opposed to gays and lesbians openly serving fear that they're going to be consistently hit on in the military or checked out in the showers or feel uncomfortable around them in bedding situations. But the funny thing is that even though gays and lesbians are forced to serve silently, they're still gay. They're still there. You're still rooming with them. You're still showering with them. Just because they're silenced does not mean that it's going to change how things are. They're just going to be afforded the same rights as any other person. And the other thing is that those serving in the military volunteered to protect our country because they love our country. They're not doing it to employ some kind of gay agenda. The entire thing, by today's standards, is completely ridiculous. Being part of the military and doing what they need to do has nothing to do with orientation and would not affect their ability to get the job done, which should be the only concern. It's just mind-blowing that some people would still enforce this. To show the preposterousness, is that a word? I don't think it is, of this Don't Ask, Don't Tell, whatever it is, I am going to make a little skit for you. Hey dude, did you hear that Don't Ask, Don't Tell was just repealed? Wait, seriously? That is so cool.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well dude, I kinda have a confession to make. I'm gay, and now that Don't Ask, Don't Tell is repealed, I'm going to act on every single homosexual feeling I have, which means I'm totally gonna grab your junk in the shower and probably rape you while you're sleeping. I mean, I know. Sorry. Now let's be realistic. That situation would never happen. No. And basically that's more or less what everyone is so afraid of. And it's just ridiculous. So, yeah, that's my opinion on the subject. Please leave comments down below or a video response about your opinion on what's going on with Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I would love to hear other point of views or just have a really cool discussion going on down there. So that's it for Monday. Later, guys.